You think you know yourself. You know how you walk, how you talk, how you react. You know your intentions, what you meant to say, what you meant to do. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No one else sees you that way. They don't see your thoughts. They don't hear your internal monologue. They only see the results, your expressions, your words, your silence. And what they see might be vastly different from who you believe you are. Because the you in your mind, and the you in someone else's mind, are two entirely different people. The mirror you never look into. Most people go their whole lives without realizing this. You don't control how people see you. You only control what you put out. Their perception? That's filtered through their own insecurities, traumas, beliefs, and past experiences. Say something confidently? One person might admire your strength. Another might think you're arrogant. Help someone out? They might see kindness. Or they might see manipulation. You're not just you. You're a collection of reflections in other people's minds. And if that makes you uncomfortable, it should. Because most of us are walking around, unaware of how we actually come across to others. We assume they get us. But assumptions are the breeding ground for misunderstanding. The perception gap. There's a psychological phenomenon called the perception gap. It's the difference between how you think people see you and how they actually do. Studies show that people often rate themselves more positively than others do. Not because they're lying, but because self-assessment is clouded by intention. You think, I was just being honest. But they think, you were being rude. You think, I'm reserved and thoughtful. But they think, you're cold and disinterested. This gap creates friction, in relationships, in careers, in everyday interactions. The tragedy? Most people never close that gap. They keep living under the illusion that their inner world is obvious to everyone else. It's not. The subtle clues people pick up. You're giving off signals every second, whether you know it or not. Your tone, your posture, your eye contact or lack of it, your reaction when someone interrupts you, the way you respond when someone else is praised. All of it communicates who you are, or at least who they think you are. People are constantly reading between the lines. And the craziest part? They're usually not doing it consciously. They just feel something about you. And they trust that feeling, whether it's right or wrong. The hidden feedback loop. Here's where it gets even more twisted. Once someone forms an opinion of you, they start treating you accordingly. And you, without realizing, start adjusting your behavior to match their expectations. That's how reputations are formed. Not by one moment, but by this quiet back and forth of perception and reaction. They see you as a leader, they give you responsibility, you rise to it. They see you as a screw-up, they micromanage you, you lose confidence, you make more mistakes. So ask yourself, what kind of cycle are you stuck in? And more importantly, what started it? Self-awareness is a superpower. You can't control people's minds, but you can become aware of the signals you're sending. Are you present when people speak? Do you dominate conversations without realizing? Do you fidget when you're nervous? Do you smile when you're uncomfortable instead of saying how you feel? Self-awareness doesn't mean becoming paranoid. It means becoming intentional. The more conscious you are of how you show up in the world, the more power you have to shape how others experience you. And that is influence. Perception shapes opportunity. Here's a truth we often ignore. Opportunities don't always go to the most talented. They go to those who are perceived as capable, confident, and trustworthy. You could be brilliant, but if you come across as unsure, people hesitate. You could be kind, but if your tone sounds cold, people pull away. This isn't unfair, it's human. Perception frames reality. And if you don't shape that frame, someone else will. So ask yourself, not just who you are, but how you show up. Why it's not about people pleasing. Let's get something straight. Understanding how you're perceived is not about changing yourself to be liked. It's about alignment. Bringing your inner world closer to what people actually see. If you're kind but you come off cold, fix that misalignment. If you're smart but people think you're arrogant, adjust how you share your ideas. You don't need to be someone else. You need to make sure people can actually see who you truly are. That's not manipulation. That's clarity. The philosopher's perspective. Socrates once said, "Know thyself." But he wasn't just talking about sitting in silence, meditating on your thoughts. He was pointing towards something far more radical, the delicate dance between your inner self and the outer world. Because true wisdom isn't just internal clarity. It's understanding the mirror the world holds up to you, and realizing that both reflections, internal and external, shape your reality. Great thinkers like Carl Jung expanded on this by introducing the concept of the persona, the mask we wear to navigate society. This mask is not inherently fake. It serves a purpose. It allows us to function in a world built on social roles, expectations, and unspoken rules. But Jung warned us, the danger isn't wearing the mask. The danger is forgetting it's a mask at all. The moment you confuse your public persona with your authentic self, you lose touch with what's real. You become a projection, not a person. And this is where Friedrich Nietzsche enters the conversation. He once wrote, "Become who you are." At first glance it sounds paradoxical. But it's a challenge to shed the layers of social conditioning and return to your essential nature. To realize that your greatness doesn't lie in pretending to be what others want, but in choosing who you truly wish to become, and boldly stepping into it. And yet there's also wisdom in balance. Lao Tzu, the ancient Taoist philosopher, reminds us, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." In other words, self-awareness is power. But understanding how others perceive you, that's influence. The wise don't operate in extremes. They don't isolate themselves in self-reflection, nor do they blindly live for public approval. They navigate both worlds with grace. They know their inner truth, and they know how it resonates with the world around them. Not to manipulate, not to impress, but to connect, to lead, and to live a life aligned with something deeper than ego. So if you ever feel misunderstood or misjudged, pause and ask, is it because I've hidden too much of my real self? Or is it because I've worn the mask for so long I've forgotten who I am underneath? Because the world doesn't just need more authenticity. It needs more people who are conscious of their presence and intentional about how they show up. In the end, knowing yourself is powerful. But knowing how you appear, and being strategic without being false, that's a rare and timeless kind of wisdom. You'll never fully know how people see you. But the more you learn to listen, to the feedback, to the reactions, to the subtle shifts in energy, you'll start to notice patterns. You'll start to understand the unspoken narrative others have about you. And you'll have a choice. Ignore it, and risk being misunderstood. Or use it, to become more powerful, more authentic, and more deeply connected to the world around you. Because the truth is, you're not just the main character in your story. You're also a side character in someone else's. And how they write you into their lives depends on the version of you that shows up. So show up wisely. If this video made you stop and reflect, even for a moment, then you're already ahead of most people. Because self-awareness is rare. And those who have it, win in life. So if you want more insights that go deeper than surface-level motivation, hit that subscribe button. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming the person you thought you were all along. And remember, people don't just remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. Make that version of you unforgettable.